This was the thinking. Testosterone, now used more than ever before, increases red blood cell production. Too much red blood cell production makes the blood thicker and slower. This viscous blood crowds the middle of a blood vessel and pushes platelets to the side. When an arterial plaque ruptures, these platelets, now with more contact time with the rupture, are more likely to form a clot. If the clot happens in the coronary artery, it can lead to a heart attack. If it happens in the brain, it can cause a stroke. Because of this phenomenon, testosterone replacement became linked to increasing the risk of heart attacks or strokes. At least that's what we thought, until 2023, when researchers took over 5,000 men ages 45 to 80, all with clinically low testosterone levels, and randomly assigned them either a daily transdermal testosterone gel or a placebo gel for 2 years. They intentionally picked men at the highest baseline risk for heart attacks and stroke. Conditions that put you in high cardiovascular risk are hypertension, hyperlipidemia, obesity, diabetes, smoking. They chose this group because they were the most likely to have a heart attack from testosterone replacement. If a heart attack or stroke were to happen, this is the group where you'd expect to see it. In other words, they were the best test subjects. And the results were solid. This graph shows the chances of having a heart attack or stroke over time. Orange is testosterone, blue is placebo. The lines rise at the same rate, indicating the rates of heart attack, stroke, and other cardiovascular events were nearly identical in both groups. This means that testosterone replacement did not make things worse in this population. It was non-inferior to placebo. Or in English, in middle-aged and older men with low testosterone and high risk of heart disease, there was no increase in heart attacks or strokes when they were on TRT. This is huge. This study was key in rebalancing the risks and benefits of testosterone replacement. In fact, the FDA used this study to remove a previous major cardiovascular warning they had on TRT. Wait. Pause. Are you saying to yourself, this is great, because if testosterone was fine for these old guys, practically a sneeze away from having a heart attack, then it's probably safe for me, a young guy with a healthy heart. Half the guys I know at the gym are juicing anyway. My barber is on gear. It's really more hormone optimization if you think about it. Stop thinking that right now. Jokes aside, that isn't what this study is saying. It's never a good idea to generalize outside of the studied population, and I'll tell you why. First, the men being studied all had low testosterone. We are talking about testosterone replacement, taking testosterone so that people can have normal levels. Taking it when you already have normal levels is steroid abuse, and that can lead to heart damage or sudden cardiac death. High prolonged doses grows the heart muscle, which can make it harder for the heart to pump blood or relax properly. Second, the men being studied were all at risk for heart disease and were on daily medications. Maybe it turns out their hearts were fine because they were mostly all on a statin, which stabilized their plaques. In real life, taking a statin is not a requirement to be on TRT, but this is just an example that these results only apply to other men like them. Finally, the men being studied were all middle-aged or older, with an average age of 63. At baseline, a 60-year-old has experienced decades of gradual muscle decline, longer than 20-year-olds have even been alive. So comparing risks and benefits for these two populations are completely different. Another weakness is that follow-up was only about 2.5 years after treatment, too short to capture the long-term cardiovascular effects. Maybe we see testosterone having more heart attacks in the long run versus placebo. Hopefully not, but it's not guaranteed. There's so many what-ifs in medicine that it's hard to say with certainty anything that isn't exactly within the studied parameters. Let's talk about the side effects now. Cardiovascularly safe does not mean risk-free. On top of the expected side effects, including decreased testicular volume, increased hematocrit, gynecomastia, high blood pressure, reduced fertility, hair and skin changes, men receiving testosterone also seem to have significantly higher rates of severe adverse events. These included arrhythmias, acute kidney injuries, and pulmonary embolisms. These events were more common in the testosterone group, but the study was only looking at heart attacks and strokes, so we can't come to any conclusions yet. More research is needed in this area. Okay, let's discuss. If you are a middle-aged to older man with high risk of heart disease and you are suffering from symptoms caused by low testosterone, then this study was made for you. You should absolutely talk to your doctor about TRT. It can really change your quality of life. if you have borderline T. Low to mid 300s is a testosterone gray area. It's low normal. Good news is we do test for a lot more than just total testosterone. We check free testosterone, luteinizing hormone, follicular stimulating hormone, sex hormone binding globulin. So we do have a lot more we can take a look at. At the end of the day, it comes down to weighing the risks and benefits of you, an individual, and making a shared decision with the guidance of a knowledgeable and understanding provider. One that understands you have to treat a patient, not a number. What I can easily recommend is if you want to raise your testosterone naturally, you should do these 3 things consistently, and you should expect to see a huge improvement in just 3 months. 1. Get good sleep. Probably get a sleep study. I see it all the time when a man comes in complaining about feeling tired or fatigued. It's usually not a testosterone thing. It could be, but most of the time we find it's actually a sleep thing instead. Specifically obstructive sleep apnea, which is when you're choking in your sleep. This is how easy it is to be high risk for obstructive sleep apnea. Let me show you. If you are a male over 50 years old and you feel tired, bam, you're high risk for obstructive sleep apnea. That's literally every middle-aged man. Getting good sleep is one of the most important things you can do for testosterone production because it is made during deep sleep. 2. Lose fat. I know. We doctors are stereotyped into blaming everything on fat, but hear me out. There's this enzyme called aromatase, which lives in fat cells. Aromatase converts testosterone into estrogen, so the more fat cells or aromatase you have, the more testosterone gets converted to estrogen. So if you are overweight, I would recommend losing 1% of your body weight per week. For most patients, they just say about 5 pounds per month. That would be a really solid goal.
He said, knowing full well he gained 5 pounds in 2026.
3. Lift heavy weights. 3 times a week. High-intensity strength training tells your body you need more muscle. And to make more muscle, the hypothalamus sends a signal, GnRH, to the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland sends another signal, LH, to the testes. And it's the testes, the Leydig cells in the testes, that finally produce testosterone. In the age of testosterone mills, influencer salesmen, and extremely targeted algorithmic ads, it's important to know what the evidence really says and know that generalizing outside of a tested group can be dangerous or misleading. Bottom line, this study cannot be used to say testosterone is safe for the heart, period. But it can be used to say testosterone replacement might not be as bad as we thought it was for middle-aged to older men with low T. Thanks for watching. I hope I gave a balanced and nuanced take on this, on the internet. It took me 16 years to make this video, so I'd love to hear what you think. Well, I think I'll talk about cannabis next. We'll do the heavy hitters. To my 300 subscribers from 16 years ago, I hope you did well on your biology SAT2s. I don't even think they exist anymore, but I hope you did well.
Sweating is an example of homeostasis.